everyone. My name is Sally Jasonowski. I am a cake artist. I've been making wedding cakes for about 16 years now. So the reason I'm doing this video is because I've been making cakes for 16 years, and just about almost 2 years ago in April of like 2023, I just had like a small random accident where I was carrying my laundry basket into the laundry room a little rushed, and I slammed my shoulder right here into the door jamb of my laundry room carrying the basket. And I did it with like full force, and at that moment I swear I thought I injured something in here. But of course, I'm young. I just turned 43, and I did this probably when I was like 40, 41. And I thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna recover. I just like, bump my shoulder and it's going to recover and I'll be fine. And so for the past almost 2 years, I just kept making wedding cakes, working on it. And I think a few months in, when I got my injury first, I tried to help my husband lift something really heavy, and that's when I swear I tore it. So for those of you, I just recently got my rotator cuff surgery 5 days ago. This is 5 days post surgery on my left shoulder because I slammed it into that laundry room 2 years ago and had been working on it. And when the doctor opened me up, not only did I have a full, like a almost full rotator cuff tear, it was still a partial tear, but he said I tore a hole through my tendon, in the center of my tendon. And it was literally like big enough for him to stick his instrument through and like do a little circle, which is so creepy. So I'm letting you know, I'm 43 years old. I'm about 5'4". I weigh 125 pounds, and I've been lifting cakes for almost like 15 years, like uninjured, don't usually have pain. But with the tear in my left arm, it was just getting worse. I did PT for like a year and a half on and off, just trying to help with the pain management there. So I was waking up with excruciating pain on my left shoulder, and in the recent last 3 months I started feeling it in my right shoulder, which I definitely knew it was time for surgery because it was affecting my right arm too, because my right arm has been overcompensating for the use of my left arm for like a year, almost 2 years, that my right arm is starting to pop in all these weird places too. And I feel like I'm like tearing my right rotator cuff because I never healed my left rotator cuff. So I finally got the surgery on January 7th of this year, 5 days ago, and I'm just giving you guys my full spiel. I feel like I'm fortunate because I would think most people who get the rotator cuff surgery is on their dominant shoulder right arm and not their left one. I would say I'm probably like most of the time, most people, 80% of people are getting rotator cuff surgeries or shoulder surgeries on their right arm and not their left arm. My left arm just hit that door jam and that was it. And who knew? My husband was like, only sports people or people who play sports get rotator cuff tears. But apparently rotator cuff tears are very, very common, especially if you're like a baker and stuff and you're lifting and doing manual labor. You could accidentally tear your rotator cuff and not even know. And that's what happened to me, and I kept working on it, and I'm really glad I got the surgery because I felt like I was getting worse. Like I dealt with so much pain and popping in the morning and at night, especially after you work a full day of just moving your arm and rotating it, that at the end of the day it was like excruciating. So now that I've gotten the surgery, I feel like recovery is going well. I have to wear this sling for 6 weeks, but I feel like the sling is really awkward and it pulls on your neck like all the time because for me, subconsciously, the first day with the nerve block, you don't feel anything. So you're not moving your arm at all, and you don't really feel any pain from like this side of your body to like this side. So if you got surgery on your right, you don't feel any pain on your right side, but I felt like no pain from here all the way down to like my fingertips, and my fingers felt hot, and the tips of my fingers I could like move on my left finger, but in the beginning I couldn't move it at all, and it felt so weird. I felt like I was losing circulation in my hands because I couldn't move my fingers, which is weird. But once the nerve block wears off, it runs between 24 to 48 hours, depends on how fast you metabolize it, I guess. With all the doctor details they tell me, I felt like it was so awkward to get the movement back in my hands. And so once you get that back, for me, like the first pain you'll feel is kind of in your incision spots. Like I felt stinging in my incision spots. And typically with the rotator cuff surgery, they cut you in 4 small, like 1/2 inch circles here, or lines here, 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 and on your back. But actually, because I tore my tendon, the doctor actually didn't make an incision here, and I kept thinking I had one here, though the pain is here because that's where my tear was on my rotator cuff. So I felt the pain here, but I actually have 2 long incisions right here, almost an open cut on the edge of my shoulder. So that's like really interesting because I think he had to cut me there because I tore my tendon too. And so I actually have 2 cuts here and 2 cuts towards the back. So I don't actually have this front cut right here, which is very interesting because I kept icing it thinking I did until I pulled off my dressing. So like the first day you go home, they tell you to keep your dressing on for like 2 to 3 days. And I only took off my dressing like 2 days ago and saw where all the sutures were, where all the stitches were. So I actually have real stitches that the doctor has to cut off of me at the post-op appointment, which is like in 10 days, or like you're supposed to make that appointment between 6 to 10 days. I have mine coming up a week from now. So what's interesting with the whole recovery process is with the nerve block in and then you feel your sensation back is the fact that because you're used to using both your hands, it's really awkward for me because I think I'm subconsciously using my left hand all the time. Like I actually don't even bear weight a lot of times in my sling, but you're supposed to do that. You're not supposed to overexert yourself. I feel like the sling also for me is a little awkward because the cushion is like super thick and I have like a short upper torso and I'm a small girl and I feel like this cushion is like so far from my body. It's like awkward. Like I feel like my arm's like this, even though it's really not supposed to be. I kind of wish the cushion was a little bit thinner just for my body size, but I'm just dealing with it. A lot of people do get the ice machines because the pain here is excruciating in the first few couple of days. It's been 5 days for me. This is my 5th day. I actually have not always been a fan of icing. I always like heat on my arm because my arm hurt so bad. At the end of the night, I would put a heat pad on and that would be it. I never actually iced it except for in the summers when it was like really, really hot. So because I got my surgery in the winter, I feel like winter's nice because it's nice and cool in the house that you don't have to ice it like excruciatingly a lot. But even for me, I don't feel like I iced it that much in comparison to others because I just felt like the pain wasn't that bad because the pain I was dealing with before surgery was pretty excruciating that I think I've just dealt with like high pain threshold for a long time that I didn't even have to worry about that much pain. But I am taking pain meds, so they did give me oxycodone and I do take 2 Advils with it because my right arm even is like tired from overworking because I'm right-handed and I have my right hand, I am actually overusing my right hand to compensate again for the fact that I don't have my left hand, which is a little crazy. But I didn't end up getting one of the ice machines, even though people swear by it. But I do have like these cool ice packs that I just put on my shoulder gently like this. And I just tie it under my elbow, like under my armpit. And I put it around and I just ice it there. Because my incision is actually on the top of my shoulder and on the back. So it actually helps to have this ice pack. So I'll have this ice pack on me and I'll switch it between 2 of these. And it seems to be working really great for me. Because I've dealt with so much pain and have bared it for so long that I feel like I didn't even need the ice machine because my pain has been bearable. And I also been taking the pain meds, so that helps a lot. I think when the pain meds start to wear off, I really feel like the pain in the incisions, like it feels stingy, and it's not just like a dull pain in my shoulder that you would feel from like, you know, your surgery sutures inside. Some just interesting tips I've had to deal with. Oop, this fell off. Deal with just for ease. I do think I recommend people to prep a lot of the things you need before you get surgery, like where you want to sit, where you want to rest. I got myself a bed wedge. It's actually like one of those 12-inch inclined bed wedges that you can actually rotate upright to sit upright. Then the wedge is kind of like this, like a 90-degree right angle. But then when you're sleeping, you turn it and it becomes like an obtuse right angle like this when you sleep on it, and I can show you guys that. A lot of times I find that was like one of the hardest things to do is actually opening your water bottle. So if you have like little plastic bottles in the beginning, you can actually like unscrew all the tops and have that ready so that you could just drink straight out of the bottle. For me, I filled a bunch of these and just lined them up on my bed, and I use like my left finger to like open this and just keep it open to drink. One of the hardest, I think, challenging things is getting dressed. Um, for a woman, for men, I feel like you don't have to deal with like undergarments, like a bra or any of that stuff. But for women, I find, because I don't really have big breasts or anything, I felt like the easiest thing was to get these really stretchy like camisoles like this right here. They kind of look like this. And you just like pull it over. The easiest thing is to pull it, wedge it up, snake it through your hand, and then get that first strap over here, and then pull the rest over your head. And it's like got to be super stretchy. Like this is like super stretchy. See that? And then I just buy it like a large, even though I'm a small. And that has been really helpful. And then any type of like button down flannel shirts or like zip up hoodies. The only thing is I love the zip up hoodie because the zip is like so easy to work with, to get it snake through your arm and then just pull the rest over and then zip up really quick. In the winter, that's kind of like the best get up clothing that you can wear, like a flannel button down or a zip up hoodie. The only thing I didn't like about the hoodie is because it's a hoodie, there's like a bunchy area for the hood in the back, and when you sleep you kind of feel like that bunching in your back, and it's not comfortable. And so I like switched to the flannel like a few days later. Like the first day I got surgery, I had a zip up hoodie, which was great because you don't want to have clothes under your sling, but I felt like the bunching in the hoodie area was like bothering me a lot, considering that you already have this bunchy sling part like in your neck. That it's just much easier not to have that bunchiness in the back. So I switched to the flannel, and I love the flannel. It's great. It's just you have to button. So either someone has to help you get buttoned, or you just button a few and then work the later buttons later. And then sweatpants and easy, loose, like undergarments to pull on is like the best. And so that's what I've been dealing with. I'm lucky. I have my mom staying here to help me too. And my husband and my children are very helpful. They'll get me ice packs. They'll help me readjust. One thing I don't really like is the sling. I feel like always awkward in it because I never know if my arm's resting correctly in it. And I feel like I will do a couple exercises to kind of help me make sure that my shoulders are in like the right posture point. So you do want to make sure you like kind of set back and you're not hunching, because then you can tell your shoulders are kind of aligned correctly. And then I actually do these scapulus, I don't know if I'm saying this right, these scapulus exercises, which is where you pinch your shoulder blades in the back to kind of help you like work out just your shoulder blades, and they like pinch a little. For those of you who don't know me, I also have a spinal fusion. So I got that when I was 24, and that helped me a lot. I actually had horrible scoliosis as a kid, and the doctors actually told me to get a spinal fusion when I was 16, but the surgery back then was very outdated, and I would have had staples going down my back, like 12 inches of staples going down my back. And so I elected not to get it when I was 16 and waited a little bit till technology got better, and I finally got it in my 20s at 24, and it was so much better. All I have is like one like incision line all the way down from the top of my neck to the lower part of my back, because I had like a T2 to T12 incision. And so it's just like one clean line. It's not too bad scarring wise, and it for cosmetic reasons looks very clean. And so that's what I have on my back. So like my shoulder blades are actually fused to my spinal fusion, which is very interesting. But when I do the scapula exercise, which is the one where you pinch your shoulder blades in the back to make sure your shoulders are aligned, it's actually great because it helps me realize if my shoulders are like straight or not. And I do neck exercises. They help a lot with the fact that the sling is going to be pulling on the side of your neck for like the next 6 weeks while you have the sling in. So I do this exercise where you like hold every day, like you tilt your head as far as you can to the right to pull this muscle right here. This is actually where they gave me the anesthesia needle. And so this side of my neck has been really sore. So doing this exercise actually really helps the pain here because you're stretching that area where they like gave you the anesthesia needle. So I stretch my head like this way for 1 to 2 minutes, 2 or 3 times a day, every day, and it helps a lot. And then I do the same to this side because it helps with the sling. You just want to make sure you support your arm, because once you move your neck this way, your neck is not really supporting your arm and your shoulder anymore. Like it's just the cushion because you're velcroed to the cushion, that the cushion's kind of supporting it, but your neck is not supporting that weight anymore. So I move it this way and I hold it there for 2 minutes, 2 or 3 times. You want to do this 2 or 3 time reps, which really helps. And I actually do like head and neck rolls just to help with the movement, because this is very stiff that it's always going to be pulling here for like 6 weeks till you get your sling off, which is going to be insane, I feel like. So I do a lot of neck rolls to help with that. And then I do like wrist exercises on my hand, and I actually do like finger exercises for my sling. So if you can't tell, in my sling, like your hand is here, your thumb is through this loop, and this sling is velcroed to this stomach piece, which is tied around to your stomach, right? But I do a lot of finger exercises. I actually do like this exercise where I stretch out my fingers and my thumbs to like help with movement. You can even kind of bend back your hands like this to kind of give it stretchy motion. A lot of people tell me that when they grip things, I've watched other people's rotator cuff surgery videos, and they tell me when they grip things with this hand, they really feel it in their shoulder. For me, it has not been the case. I actually feel like even moving or just kind of holding like my water bottle has been pretty good, but maybe that's just because I'm young and I still have like good mobility in my hands and my fingers. They do give you this cool like squeezy ball that comes with your rotator thing. It's actually attached to your sling thing here. They have like a little spot for you to put this squeezy flexi ball like right here. You see that ball right here? You can see it. You can actually take it out, and it's like a stress relief ball, and you just like squeeze it to give your fingers some motion and stuff. But I've actually been able to fully use my hand pretty well, which is bad because you don't want to put too much stress on your hands or your arm. You just want to relax it so that it can recover in the right position or whatnot. But sadly, like, because this is my left hand and I'm able to use my dominant hand, I feel like I'm actually using my left arm. Like, I don't always bear down weight on it, and I feel like I actually like will accidentally lift it in some cases by accident without just even realizing it. And I do feel pain, so that's your body telling you to stop. So a lot of times I just have to pay attention to not overexerting using this arm, because I've used this arm for so long in pain that I'm not used to not using it at all. So it's really, really interesting. This for me, like the surgery, also preparing a lot of things in advance. Like where I'm sitting, like I love sitting on this part of the couch. I actually have like a pillow supporting my back. I have my blankets, I have extra clothes and water and my ice packs, and I do have like a C table in front of me that's holding like my water bottle, and I have like a bunch of little things like this to hold like your phone and your iPad, which is super helpful. I mean, a lot of people say they've been using recliners. I do have a recliner in the basement, and the recliner has actually been pretty fun, nice to sit on. I have a handle on my right, and I luckily, because I'm right-handed, that works out for me. It's on the right where I could like pull it and it'll adjust me up. I've been fortunate enough to be able to like sleep upright on my wedge in my bedroom. I just have a wedge, and the wedge has been very helpful, I feel like. The only negative about the wedge is that it's on the bed on my side is like facing out to the left. So when I get up, I have to be very careful where I rotate, so that I don't bump my arm out on like the nightstand, because I have a nightstand and my bed is like this way. And so it's actually, I get up to the left side of the bed, and so I will like bump the nightstand if I'm not careful with the sling. So the other thing I want to mention with the sling is this sling protrudes like 4 to 5 inches out from your body. And so walking around has been really challenging, because I'm not used to sticking out so much that I will sometimes hit the side of the wall with my elbow, or I will hit the side of like anything like a chair in my dining room with my elbow. And on the first day with a nerve block, you don't feel it, so you're not realizing you're hitting yourself, but you have to be really extra careful. So sometimes I will walk a little sideways going up and down the stairs so that I'm not hitting anything. So like when you're walking, you kind of want to walk to like the side like this, or because your elbow is sticking out a lot, you want to just kind of like turn your body a little when you're walking so that you don't hit things. Just be aware of that. I notice that a lot. Like even when I open the refrigerator door, I'm almost about to hit my arm with it because I don't realize how far it's sticking out. So just be aware that you're sticking out a lot. Great ways to maneuver are to like walk a little to the side, pay attention to the door jambs and the door openings so that you're not hitting anything. That was like a big challenge for me because I walk pretty fast. And so like I have to like kind of slow down just to make sure I'm not hitting anything when I walk through like a hallway or through like a newel area where the newel sticks out in my like foyer and stuff. So just be careful about that. But so far I feel like day 5, recovery seems pretty great. I just have to try not to overexert myself. I've always been an active kind of person. I've always been moving around. I clean, I watch my kids, I make food for them. And it was very challenging not to be able to use this arm all the time because I bake cakes. I literally am working all day baking and cooking in the kitchen that it's so weird to like sit down, relax, and not do anything with your arm. Like yesterday I made pancakes with the kids. I still was like whisking with my right arm, but I would be like, son, hold the bowl, put this in. And so I had to have my kids do all that, and I just kind of like oversee all of that and kind of just like monitor what they're doing instead of me doing it, because I'm so used to me doing it myself. And I'm sure everyone who gets this wants to be independent. They don't want to like bother people or their family members. I'm fortunate to have my mom here, that she's helping me get dressed if I have a hard time getting the clothes on myself. And even my kids will help me pull on like my socks and shoes. But the greatest thing is like I'm able to do most of that myself. The key is to have loose socks, you know, shoes where your shoelace is a little less like tight, where you can kind of almost slip them on. Things I've also noticed with going to the restroom, the way I pull off the toilet paper is you want to go towards the side where your handle is and just kind of like rip really quickly. That kind of gives that right force to like pull away the toilet paper. I'm trying to think of hand washing. I've been able to like hand wash this hand single by myself, but what I do with this hand if I want to clean it is I will take a little bit of sanitizer and I'll rub it with this hand, or take like an antibacterial wipe and wipe this hand with it if I feel like it's getting a little dirty from just touching things. But I am able to like use my left hand to help me out with like, you know, refilling water bottles. A lot of people will put this between their feet and turn it. I just make sure I have this handle and I kind of just hold this and I like twist with this and get the water bottle off. But this one is so tight, I think I accidentally tightened it too much. But I'm trying to think of any other tips that helps a lot with like sitting and eating and whatnot. I do recommend like pre-opening like any of your like snack food bags, like your cereals. I like pre-cut it and I just put like a chip clip on it so that when I open it, I just like pour it with one hand into a bowl. Same with my teacups and stuff. I have all of that set out just so that I can make tea really easily. Yeah, I feel like 5th day surgery has been good. I'm still on pain meds, luckily, so that if I have any incision pain, it helps with that. With the dressing changing, you do have to be really, really careful. I changed mine just 2 days ago, and I had to, I used like these waterproof, transparent dressings that I got from Walmart, which is great. So I put gauze over my thing, and then when you put the transparent dressing on, they're actually like waterproof too, but they breathe, so it's really nice with the showering. I do recommend that if you can't wash your hair, because washing my hair was like so important to me. My husband tried to lean me back to wash my hair, and that was like a disaster. So I recommend maybe for like the first 2-3 weeks, if you're having a hard time washing your hair, go to like a hair salon and just have them wash your hair and dry it. Because if you can get someone to drive you, that's like the easiest, because they have those chairs you just lean down and your head goes into a bowl and it's so easy to clean. I had my husband wash it, but it was not easy. I had to lean back and he was like washing me like a shaggy dog, like, and I'm like, you're making my hair go everywhere with the water. So that was not fun. The good thing is I happened to be changing out my dressing, so I just had to like wipe myself down anyways, and then change my dressing. So I feel like for women, if you don't sweat as much or whatnot, it's much easier just to wipe yourself off with like a feminine wipe to clean yourself for like the first 2 weeks until you can shower. I fortunately was enough to like use the handle and like showered my lower half of the body, but I did not get this part wet. I just wiped myself, and then my husband washed my hair for me as best as he could, which I think was a whole ordeal. in the bathtub, which was crazy, because you don't want to get your incision area like fully immersed in water. They tell you just to like keep it dry and then just like pat it. I have been using waterproof dressing, so that's been working out really well. The sutures come out next week when I go to my post-op, and I'll probably post a couple other videos following up just to see progress, because I feel like I really enjoyed watching other people's rotator cuff videos just to kind of get a feel of how the surgery went for each person. A lot of people who get it are older, but I feel like they are very happy with the surgeries after they get it because their whole body, their whole arm gets to recover. I've been dealing with so much pain for almost 2 years in this arm. I just wanted to get the surgery just not to wake up in excruciating pain where my shoulder's like popping in 3 places. It was like cracking and popping, and like if I lifted it like past a certain position, like if I tried to pull it past here and then go extend up to my ceiling, to the ceiling, you would hear like crack, crack, crack all the way up. It was just so horrible in the mornings whenever I heard the popping, and at night. And no matter what I did, it was not going away. So I'm just glad I got the surgery, and that it's hopefully going to help me in the long run, because I'm not that old and I want to be able to use my left arm. At one point I was just like, just cut off my left arm. I'm done with it. So anyways, that's my story. Day 5 of surgery. So far, everything's been doing well. I'm glad I got the surgery because I think I really, really needed it. Recovery, we will see. I've actually make wedding cakes, so I've had to pause all my wedding cakes. The great thing is I still have my dominant arm, so I have an assistant and another assistant and my husband who helps me with my deliveries, that I should be able to execute all my wedding cakes that come up starting end of April into May and June. So I'm hoping I'm going to be mostly recovered by then. The most challenging thing I feel like right now is to be in the sling, because the sling like immobilizes your arm so that you can't move it too much, but it's just so awkward for me. And after, the thing is, you're supposed to come out of the sling to like do these exercises where you can extend your elbow, which I do. That I feel like coming out of the sling feels so good for me, just to like drop my elbow down to the ground. Like, you don't want to bend your elbow up, but to even just extend your elbow out like down like this is just like so nice, you know, to extend it down from the side. So you do that, and then you just do these easy like simple pendulum swings, like where you just like rotate your body and your arm just kind of like swings a little to the clockwise and counterclockwise. And those are the only exercises I do outside of the sling, just to like, they have you doing that just so that you probably have some mobility in your arm and that your arm doesn't like lose circulation in this in the sling. I feel like those are both really great exercises when I come out of it. It just feels nice to come out of the sling once in a while. I do have to try not to like move my shoulder a lot, because I tend to like to want to move my shoulder or help assist my arm or whatnot. So that's pretty much what I have for right now. Day 5 of post-surgery rotator cuff tear on my left arm. I hope you guys benefited from some of the tips and stuff I've just had to deal with during my surgery. I would say the most nerve-wracking part was driving in for surgery. We ended up getting a snowstorm the day right before my surgery date, and I had to come in at like, I lucked out. I asked the doctor if he could schedule me just a little later where I didn't have to come in at 5 a.m. So I only had to arrive at the office at 8 a.m., but I had to leave my house at 7 because I live about an hour away from the surgical facility center. And I think going into the surgery facility to get my surgery was like the most nerve-wracking. Once I was there, I was like, just get it over with, get it over with. And so that was my experience. Now I finally got the surgery, came back, and the snow helped out so much. So I really appreciate you guys watching. Hope this video was very helpful for you. Bye for now.